Okay, here, look. I want to first of all thank all of the senators who contributed to this debate. It was a very positive debate, and I think we all agree on practically all of the points and then the importance of youth work, as you do, Minister, obviously. I want to commend, before I move forward, all the organisations involved in youth work. I mean, whether providing is a club or a service or a project, and commend all the staff, paid and unpaid, the voluntary workers who do so much good work, and again, obviously, the young people who participate. You mentioned Ihan and Oga, and that was very successful, run a few months back. It created awareness of youth clubs and encouraged participation. But the youth clubs said, you know, they can't deal with increased numbers. They are genuinely under pressure. Like, I didn't bring forward this motion because they're not, because they're getting sufficient funding. They are under pressure to meet existing levels of service. There is a need for increase. We've talked about staff, and there's excellent youth workers there working with the young people. But it is very difficult to recruit and retain, because there's cost of living pressures on these workers, and they are going to go into other sectors that pay better, because they can't meet their own rent or cost of living pressures there. Many of youth workers tell us, well, they're under pressure because they're actually filling gaps left by other agencies in our society as well. So they're providing mental health supports, they're providing counselling services, and they're not necessarily qualified in those areas. So it's just that it's bringing more pressures as well. So that's an issue for other departments, but again, it highlights the need for all departments across the board to be working together in supporting our young people and supporting the workers within the young people, or that are working with young people. I mean, Senator McCarthy brought up quite a disturbing story about that young 7-year-old that he was talking about, and it just makes you cold thinking about what some children are actually going through in our society, and you're wondering why there certain services aren't picking up on this and interventions being made. But I mean, I long would have argued that there should be investing money in communities where there is deprivation, where there is intergenerational poverty and trauma, because I think money invested there will be money well spent, and because you'd save it at the other end where you don't have to incarcerate them, which costs an awful lot more money. And I mean, I was talking to a youth worker that works with the youth diversion programme, and she was saying that sometimes by the time a child is referred to them and they start to work with that child, they realise we actually need to work with their parents, and we need to work with other members of the family, because as there's often years of trauma, maybe domestic violence, maybe addiction issues, so I think we need to start investing, and youth work is vital within our societies to working with young people, but we need to start investing in families and putting in the supports. Our resource centres do terrific work, but again, they're under-resourced as well. So I think we need to resource all our community supports, and when there was a recession there, an awful lot of this funding was cut, and I think it's just vital funding that needs to be maintained, if not increased, at times when recession hits and when there's unemployment and so on, because it's the families that are most deprived that suffer more. And then when the next thing, the supports that were in the community there are gone as well. They really hit rock bottom. So I really would urge you, Minister, to please try and invest more in our youth services. The National Youth Council represents many organisations. They have engaged with the implementation plan and the review of the implementation plan and so on. And they have the figures done, they have their pre-budget submission there ready. And they've laid it out there. They are under pressure. They need more funding. It is vital work, and we need to support it. Thank you.
Thanks, Senator.